Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. We're in Morven, in the Morven Museum and Gardens. We are honored to be joined by the First Lady of the great state of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
This is an important night. We're not just hanging around at Morven. This is a night to talk about adverse childhood experiences. A group of folks are getting together as a major grant, a $2 million seed grant from the Burke Foundation, the Nicholson Foundation, to deal with these issues around adverse childhood experiences. You care deeply about these children, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Talk about these. What your interpretation of these adverse experiences? We got the clinicians to talk about it, but
Sure.
You care deeply.
Well, I would say, these are experiences that happen to probably all of us. From what I understand, every 2 out of 3 people who you meet have experienced at least one of these horrible situations. And if you think about what they are, what is it? It's physical abuse, physical neglect. It's mental abuse and neglect. It's domestic violence. It's incarceration. It's sexual abuse. I mean, there's 10 of these adverse childhood experiences, and it's pretty scary to think that 2 out of 3 of us have endured at least one of these.
I was talking to the First Lady before we got on the air about our initiative, and you'll see the website on the air, right from the start, initiative funded by Terrell and Nicholson and some others. The state government, the Murphy administration, cares deeply about children birth to 3.
Yes.
And their caregivers.
Sure.
Talk about it.
Well, I'd say that, we heard very early on, back in January or February, that New Jersey was ranked 45th out of 50th in terms of maternal deaths in the first year of a child's life. And when you dig down, you realize that if you are it breaks down very, very much along racial lines. And if you're a black child born in the state of New Jersey, your chances of dying in the first year of life are 3 times greater than that of a white child. If you're a black mother giving birth in New Jersey, your chances of dying in that child's first year of life are 5 times greater than that of a white woman's. So given that I'm a mother of 4, and Phil is the father of 4, clearly there's a problem. And so I've been digging in ever since then, and the whole, all these things are overlapping. So the adverse childhood experiences is yet another factor that plays into this whole problem that we're experiencing here in New Jersey.
It's so interesting. As First Lady, you could be involved in a lot of things, but you choose, I know you're involved in a lot of energy policy and environmental policy, but you choose to really put a lot of attention into this area. I know there are commissioners, members of the governor's cabinet who we'll be talking to tonight, and we've talked to at other times if you look on our website on right from the start. But you chose to focus on this, and it matters that the First Lady is as involved as you are. Because?
I think that the way that I can help is by bringing a spotlight onto this and convening people. I've traveled around the state of New Jersey literally everywhere. I've met with people in foundations, people who are providers, NGOs, healthcare systems, nurse practitioners, doulas. I have seen it all around New Jersey. And the most interesting or the most striking tone that I found is a lot of these different providers or people are interested in fixing this problem. They are passionate about fixing it, but they each are in their own little silo. So if someone finds a best practice over here, like down south at Camden, for example, someone up north might be doing the exact same thing, and they may be years behind, or maybe doing approaching it in a different way, and they aren't getting the benefit of working together.
Does it feel like, to some extent, that we're not, I'm not going to get into a philosophical discussion, that sometimes we're not really one state and sharing a lot of information with each other, and that we are bifurcated in a lot of ways?
Well, I'm not sure if I would. The short answer is yes. But I would also say, even within the administration, we started out with 2 cabinet members who were pretty obvious, Department of Health and Division of Children and Family Services. We thought, okay, those 2 make sense. They have overlap here.
It's more than that, though, right?
But there's now 12 different cabinet members involved in this infant and maternal health. 12. Because if you think about it, it's everything from insurance to incarceration to food access,
Right.
to health care, to, I'm just trying to think, transportation. I mean, all of these things are coming together and working against families and mothers and their children.
By the way, we talked to the Attorney General today. I would argue that there are legal issues as well.
Probably are. There probably are.
So in many ways, because there are so many players, if you will, in the Murphy administration involved in these issues, does that make it more challenging or a greater opportunity?
I think it's a greater opportunity.
Talk about that.
It's a greater opportunity because everyone wants to fix this. There's not one person who said, sorry, I'm not available for that meeting. So we started off, like I say, there were just 3 of us in the administration. We've now expanded. When we have these meetings, you know, are kind of a review of where we are and what we can do next, everyone shows up. And it's more a factor of kind of running out of space in the room as opposed to having a lack of interest or a lack of willingness to work together. I recently had a summit at Drumthwacket and invited all of these different people from all around the state and had members from each of the different cabinets who were involved at different tables. We had 12 tables with 12 topics. Each table had questions they had to answer, and they were working not as much, which is normal, like all the foundations sitting at one table or all the doulas sitting at one table. I mixed everybody up.
You did. You said, let's
Yes.
integrate folks. Let's
Yes.
mingle. Let's be.
That's what I mean when I say I can convene people.
You're a facilitator.
Facilitator.
Really?
Yeah, maybe. So each table had their own set of questions, and they had to come up with. They could talk for a while, and then at the end they had to come up with kind of short, medium, and long-term solutions or problems that they couldn't grapple with, and it was fascinating. It was really fascinating. The summit only lasted 2 or 3 hours, and everybody was wishing that it was longer. But I would argue that I'm not sure anyone would have shown up if I'd said it was an all-day event. But it really worked, and we've taken a lot of those suggestions back into the administration now, and we're trying to figure out what can we do, how can we take these all, put them together, and come out with the best possible answer.
In the time we have with you, because I know there are a lot of other people I want to talk to. I'm curious
Sure.
about this. You and the governor have a fascination not just about people, but about policy, right? About making a difference for people
Yes.
through public policy. Did you both know that early on?
I mean, I think Phil has always been interested in policy. I mean, he's followed it for his entire life. I would say for me, when I meet someone and I can find a lot of, let me put it this way. Phil and I have conversations all the time that'll go like this. This seems to make a lot of sense. Don't you think so?
Hold on. Who's saying? Wait, I need to.
Phil will say it or I'll say it. I'll say, this kind of makes sense, this notion, let's go in X direction. Don't you think? And Phil will say, yeah, why don't you think it's been done before? Or, this doesn't make sense. Why do you think we're doing it? So we spend a lot of time just trying to say, very basic, kind of just bringing basic thoughts and impulses to everyday experiences and trying to find the best way forward. And a lot of times I think that if we all are, thoughtful human beings, we can probably move the needle a little bit faster than if we get caught up in trying to figure out who said what to whom.
Which is not productive.
No.
I want to thank you very much. You honor us by joining us here at Morven, talking about these most important issues affecting our most vulnerable children. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the Turrell Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the PNC Foundation, RWJ Barnabas Health, New Jersey Sharing Network, Caldwell University, and by Keystone Mountain Lakes Regional Council of Carpenters. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.